Hello Sagittarius friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my video, Sagittarius April 2021 Astrology Must Knows. Welcome to my second favorite month of the entire year, and actually there are some things about this month that I like even more than my favorite month of the year, which is March, and we will go into all of that. And specifically for Sagittarius, we have a ton to celebrate, and so I'm very excited to get into all of that. I'm a fellow Sagittarius. I'm very excited about this month for us, and so we're going to go into lots of juicy details. Before we do that, I want to go into one admin note. I'm going to go into a lot of details and you will see as the video progresses. However, if you want even more information as to what's going on this month, what's going on for you this month, how you can make the most of the aspects, and how do we use astrology and self-development in ways that can improve your life and experience, you definitely want to click on the More button underneath this video to reveal all the notes where it has all the links to my free resources for you. I am a very, very busy Saggy and I am always making lots of resources for you to help you improve your life, but they're not worth anything if you don't use them. So check them out in the More button, okay? And definitely sign up for my free email newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. Not only will you get a write-up about the month ahead, a month early, with all of the aspects, sweet and salty dates, what you can expect from them, what the general climate of the month is, all in writing. Delivered into your inbox 1 month early, you'll also have special exclusive access to my 2021 Happy Scopes, which only my email community gets, which means that I go into what to celebrate, what to watch out for, and how to make lemonade in the case where there are lemons for every month for the entire year of 2021. So if you want a sneak peek into all the months of the year, then sign up for my free email newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. Okay, so what am I so excited about? So one of the reasons I'm so excited is because there are more sweet aspects than salty ones this month, and that was the same for March. Now, I will admit that March had more sweet aspects by a landslide compared to the salty ones, and we're not as much in a landslide situation, but it is notable, and there are only a few months in the whole of 2021 where there are more sweet aspects than salty ones, and this is one of those months. So we definitely want to call it out because we definitely will be feeling that general harmony. Something else that's great about this month, which also is true about March, is that those heavy aspects, those outer planets getting together and making these radical global down to the individual changes that we had as our norm in 2020 and that also happened in January and February of 2021, we don't have those in March. We don't have those in April. So we're celebrating because that, it's a break from that heavy, just collision of the giants of the outer realms. So it's very, very exciting. Now, something that I like even more about April compared to March is that the entire month is free from personal planet retrogrades. Personal planet retrograde energy brings us inward and backwards, casts everything that was short into confusion, and doesn't allow us for a lot of planning. And Saggies like to plan, right? We're very, very busy. We don't like to be stagnant. We're constantly in motion. In fact, most people with any predominant Sag placements can't even manage to do all the dishes at once. They have to fold 2 pieces of laundry and then put 2 things in the dishwasher and spin around in circles. We spin around in circles, and it's very dizzying and exhausting for some people who are not wired like that to watch us in action, but we can't have it any other way. I mean, you see it with me. I can't even sit still for however long it takes to do this video. So, that being said, this energy is going to be just like exciting because it's full of forward momentum, and that's what Saggies like, and we have needed that. Now, just to contrast for March had that energy as well, but it didn't start really getting like that until the second half of March. But now here in April, the entire month, we're just revving to go. We don't have, outer planet obstacles. We don't have retrograde slowing us down saying, look backwards, look inwards. It's all just about kind of like blazing forward. April is one of my favorite months for the whole year for engagements, weddings, business deals, contracts, selling a house, buying a house, making any major purchases, and you will be spendy this month. Okay, so once you get your taxes dealt with and all that has to happen this month, then sorry, I have a loud neighbor dog that barks at everything. Once you get your taxes dealt with and all of that, this energy is going to make you very spendy. It's going to make you very excited because of all this Aries energy. And this is something else that I like about this month compared to March, is that there's more of this Aries energy. And for Sagittarius, this is amazing because this creates the most beautiful aspect in all of astrology, the trine. It speaks our language. Everything comes down to languages. Astrology is a language. Within the astrology language, there's sub-languages or dialects, you could call it, of the planets have a dialect, and each zodiac sign has a dialect, and the elements have, different sub-languages of the language of astrology. And when we have something speaking our language, which happens when planets move through fire, that is a language that Saggies understand. Then we like it. Everything is in flow. We're revved up, where our creative juices are flowing. And, it's very, very optimism bringing, and it's very ambition supporting, and it's very good for your physical vitality as well. Okay. So let's see what else I wanted to talk about there. Right. Okay. So some of the areas that you're going to see really come alive have to do with your home and family sector. So if you're wanting to move, this is one of the best months of the whole year. And if you're wanting to do things to your home because you're not moving, there's going to be a lot of restless energy around, and Saggies are already restless. So your restlessness is going to be in double, triple time. It's going to be exceedingly difficult for you to stay grounded this month. And even in the second half of the month, as the planets kind of ground into the earth of Taurus, you get a little bit of support there for grounding, but there are a lot of aspects with Uranus, plus the rumblings of the eclipse cycle that's coming, which we'll get to, that is all going to add to this restlessness, even in that earthy time that usually would be super grounding for us. Okay, so it's going to take a lot more for you to stay centered, for you to stay grounded, for you to not get swept away, for you to, keep your discernment strong. So before you make any decisions, it's going to be much easier to say yes. Saggies are great at saying yes, by the way, right? We know this about ourselves. It's much easier for us to say yes to things than it is for us to say no. And that's actually a general ongoing self-development practice that we're having to get better at, is actually thinking, feeling, possibly even sleeping on it before we say yes to something. And so it's going to be harder to do that this month, but the more you can do it, the less trouble you'll get yourself in by taking on too much, because the second half of the month is kind of like the time to pay the piper for the things we do in the first half of the month. Like if you get involved in all this stuff and take on all this stuff and spend all this money, then you have to start paying it back, or then you have to start following through with the commitment, so just kind of do yourself a favor and like brainstorm with somebody who has similar energy or not, just someone who you can get these ideas out and kind of like write down the things that you're going to move forward with, rather than just saying yes without having some sort of grounded practice. You need grounded practices, and writing is a very grounded practice as far as trying to get like a plan together. Saggies are great at talking and thinking about these plans, and then we start to implement things and we make things happen. But you can make a little bit too much happen, okay? So I just want to caution you about that. So home, family, creativity, children, if you're trying to have a baby, things with your kids that you already have, all of those are going to be supercharged. If you're trying to do something with like a creative project, bam, boosted, amazing. This is one of my favorite times of the whole year for launches. This is, it's really great for a lot of things. And you will find that you will be connecting with a lot of people. So you'll be connecting with your friends, whether it's virtual or otherwise. You'll be, very focused on your relationships. This is a time Mars is going to really be, bringing this energy of relationship in, and plus the energy of Gemini is very much about friendships and your social connections and things like that. So it's very likely going to be also very social. And again, that doesn't have to be in person, but it might be in person. Now, let's talk about two of the favorite things of the Sagittarius. One is learning, and two is traveling, okay, right? What do we love more than like a book bender on a road trip, right? So both of those types of things are supercharged this month as well. And you might find yourself traveling, whether it's short distances, long distances, or both. And you might find yourself planning longer term trips. Now, if you are in a situation where you're still under COVID lockdown at this time, these energies will manifest into something else, either future trip planning or vision boarding, anything having to do with gathering information or research for a future trip or making things possible. But the energy is going to come up about travel. Whether it actually happens or not is going to depend on your location and your personal chart and all of that. But a lot of Saggies are going to be taking at least short trips and could be taking some rather long or long distance trips as well. So have your passport ready just in case. Okay, so let's talk about the education factor. If you are looking to educate yourself further, get into a different field, expand, in a field you're already in, take a hobby to a professional level, this is a fantastic month for this. Starting education programs, making commitment to education programs, especially ones that have some flexibility in them. Because like I said, you are in a situation where you're going to want to say yes to things. And if you say yes to something that also is flexible, when you start to lose a little bit of steam, if you can kind of phase in and out of the education, then that would be even better for you. Kind of like self-paced things. Your teaching might also be highlighted in a really big way, because teaching is another thing that Sagittarius naturally do. We learn through teaching and we love to help other people, right? So you might step into your role as a teacher in a professional way, either through actually teaching school or starting online, like you having your own online school, or you being brought into the teacher, advisor, counselor, helper role for your work or for other things. All right, let's see what else I wanted to talk about there. If you have to buy a new car, if you have to buy a new device, if you have to buy anything important at your house, a water machine, a new roof, any of those things, this month is amazing for all of that. Okay, so again, just a little bit of caution, because the Aries, energies might make you see less obstacles, and you'll start to see those obstacles a little bit more as the month goes on. Just kind of get yourself into something that you can afford if you're going to take one of these things on. But it's a really great time to make all of those purchases if there's something that's pending, or if you're listening to this now and you know that something is pending, that might be a good month for that. Okay, so the last 10 days of the month, we're going to have a series of 3 conjunctions with the planet Uranus. It's going to bring surprises and a lot of nervous energy and a lot of insomnia. All right, this month is going to be harder for you to sleep than usual. Sleeping is one of the most important things we can do for our health. So if you are a health fanatic and you don't sleep, you have to direct some of your energy into figuring out how to have better quality sleep, because it is the single best health practice that you can focus on. That being said, it's not going to be easy to sleep this month. Okay, you're going to have to do more of whatever you do in order to try to get that quality sleep. And in the last 10 days, especially, you might start to feel like you have your finger in an electric socket for the whole time, because the planet Uranus does that. Also, we're getting into eclipse season. Okay, we'll get to that. Just stay focused on Uranus for now. Uranus is the bringer of surprises. Sometimes those surprises are not welcome. Sometimes those surprises are welcome. So anything from as Uranus joins with Venus and then Mercury and then the Sun in that last 10-day period, you'll be feeling these. You can have some very last minute opportunities that you have to jump on. You may have something get jostled with your love or your money or your physical body. You might have news that really throws you off. But it could be positive as well. You could have money come out of nowhere. You could have an amazing romantic experience. You could have information or an insight that changes your life and solves a major problem. Everything is very alive with the promise and possibility of random, out of the blue experiences. And it's very electric. Okay, the energy of Uranus is very electric, and you are going to be feeling that. Okay, so now let's talk about the eclipses, because if you've been listening to my reports, or if you otherwise know, we are in a Sagittarius Gemini eclipse cycle, which means that we are in a crossroads times. Anyone with predominant Sag or prominent Sag or Gemini placements is going through major life-changing experiences. Since a little before the first half of the middle of 2020, we had the first eclipses then towards the end of 2020, and then the beginning of 2021, we had the eclipses then. And now in May and June, we're going to have more Sagittarius Gemini eclipses. And the last ones will be at the end of 2021. Okay, so we're moving towards the end of this eclipse cycle, but we still have quite a bit of time and quite a bit of things to go. So radical changes, dramatic endings, brilliant new beginnings, things gelling and manifesting in a way that you've always dreamed, things that you've been trying to do for years, just showing up in a way that kind of seems easy in some ways. You know, like, wow, I worked all this hard to get to this point, and then now all this stuff is like really starting to catch fire. So, speaking of which, watch the fires, fire tendencies and things going on fire and issues with fire with all of the Uranus and the, electric kind of things. Just take extra precautions there. Okay, back to the eclipses. So where we have the eclipses in May and June, but 4 to 6 weeks before the actual eclipse, we start getting into the eclipse season. So as April progresses, we are getting into eclipse season. It's not the most rambunctious part of eclipse season. That will be May and June. But it is warming up, and you will start to see manifestations of the eclipse cycle. You will start to see the storylines that were present at each of those hot spots. Eclipse cycles are going on for a period of time. And then in that period of time, there are hot spots when the eclipses happen. Then there's kind of like a fizzling out, and then a hot, then the eclipse happens. But they're occurring during that whole period of time. I liken it to like putting a flame to water. So you put the flame to the water as soon as the eclipse season is starting. But it comes to a boil and gets all bubbly and crazy at the actual, eclipse times and the weeks around there. And then it's like you take it off the heat and it starts rolling down to like, rolling down. And then it's there, it's on the stove, but it's in the backdrop. All the stories are in the backdrop. Then when you get closer to eclipse season, you turn on the heat again. So that's what's happening. So pay attention to the predominant things that happened in the middle of 2020, at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, and I did talk about this in the reports for the eclipses for that time, like the November, December, January timeframe, so you can kind of get a sneak peek into what the storylines are for you. And I will talk about where they're going to hit for you in May for the May eclipse and June for the June eclipse. But just know that in general, yourself versus your relationships are really, really highlighted. So, codependency, healing codependency, getting more fulfillment in your relationship, listening more, voicing your needs more, endings in relationships, beginnings in relationships, new chapters within relationships. This is very, very strongly featured. Your physical health, your physical healing. Many Sages have physical issues based on two major things. One is the capacity, or the lack of the capacity, to say no, and taking on too much and getting exhausted and burning yourself out. The second thing has to do with not taking the time to feel and being so positive about everything that you shunt those negative emotions into your body, and then your body experiences physical issues while you're there being an optimist. Okay, so that type of pattern with healing the emotional issues and mental paradigms behind the physical maladies, there's a time for you to revolutionize your health during an eclipse cycle like this for you. Okay, so that could be very current. You could have some very powerful healing occur, or you could have symptomology erupt into a situation that brings something out into the open that has to be dealt with. But those areas of life are very strong. Also figuring out what you want to do, what you want to be known for, your notoriety, recognition for your work, those kind of things are going to be brought into the forefront, and you will start feeling this and seeing this in April. Okay, so make sure that that's everything I wanted to talk about. Oh, if you are a writer or a communicator, or you express yourself through pretty much anything. If you express yourself for your work, writing, dancing, speaking, anything like that. Saturn is affecting that, and Jupiter is affecting that. So Jupiter is expanding, giving you more opportunities to do your craft and to expand your work. And Saturn is making you have to do the work behind that expansion, okay? So this is a time when having discipline in your craft is going to be really necessary in order for you to take it to the heights that it wants to go, and also starting to get narrowed down in your focus. That's something that Sages are really notorious for, is having a lot of ideas and then getting excited and doing all of this stuff, and then not really being able to pick out of those things what they're supposed to focus on. But this is a time where you might have noticed that either through inside of you or through people outside of you or circumstances, you're starting to naturally get more fine-tuned into pulling out all those options into some things to really put your power behind. And this is very, very, very positive for Sagittarius. Sometimes it's a little hard, right? Because we like to be all over the place. But the more like Spirit is giving you synchronicity, Spirit is speaking to you to give you clear direction, to put your power behind certain of your ideas, you have to, you know, say either goodbye or not now to certain other ideas in order to put your full power into these ideas. And that's going to help them go really, really, really far. Okay. So, you know, publishing and blogs and, you know, pretty much any way you express yourself and then you're trying to turn that into work has beautiful support now, both for launches and expansion of work that you already had. So in general, just a super positive time. You know, definitely have a chance for being extra burnt out, so you have to watch that. Definitely have a chance for insomnia, you have to watch that. But going to be much harder to be grounded this month, but it's just definitely one of my favorite months of the year for Sag. And I hope it's magical for you. I know I've given you a lot of information, but if you would like even more information on what's going on in the stars and what you can expect, then definitely utilize all of my free resources. You can click under this video on the More button with the little arrow, and it will reveal all of these links that take you to all of these different resources that I have. You'll definitely want to go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. It's positioned right there on the front page. It'll say Dear Friend, and it'll have a space for your name and email address, and you'll get my sweet and salty list, including a detailed write-up of the month 1 month early delivered into your inbox, plus other goodies. You'll also get access to my 2021 Happy Scopes, which gives you an overview of each month of 2021, so you get a super sneak peek into all of the months ahead for 2021 and what to celebrate, what to watch out for, and how you can make lemonade in situations where there are some lemons. You can also get my Shine, my 28-day virtual coaching program for free when you sign up for my free email newsletter. So I give lots of goodies to my email community, and you can become a part of that by going to anniehelpsyou.com and signing up there. If you want written horoscopes 1 month early, written by me, and then also other lifestyle blogs, then you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com and check out all the goodies there. It's a beautiful, beautiful site. It's worth a peek just to check out how pretty it is. And there's lots of great information for your astrology-kissed life. If you want to have some free courses, you can go to my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E. life.com. You can see my free courses there, including Unleash Your Money Magnet if you're trying to work on manifesting more money. And you can also see my paid courses there, including my crazy in-depth Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery course that will prepare you to do whatever you'd like to do with astrology, whether it's for your own self-development, helping your family and friends, or actually doing astrology as all are part of your profession. Also, check out my new book, Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe, which you can find anywhere and everywhere. It's actually in the physical locations of every Barnes & Noble and Books A Million in the United States, and in many stores abroad, and everywhere online. And you can also see my other book, Radical Prayer, Transform Your Life in the World in 28 Days. And you can find that anywhere online as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month. Make sure you look at all the resources underneath the video. Click the More button. And I'll see you next month. Bye.